That's going to be interesting to see. Will these teams be ready for each other when we move into this first matchup? University of Tennessee Knoxville versus the University of North Carolina Wilmington. This week, I think when you're looking at Tennessee, it's going to be a tough partner. As you stated, they've already lost to the side of to Tennessee before in a 3-0 fashion. I think we're going to be seeing a different setup, though, when we're looking at that. We look at the maps here, and we get to see APOC Hardpoint to start this one off. Moscow Search and Destroy is map number 2. Checkmate Control is map number 3. And then if we're going the distance, Moscow and Raid.
With the way that the map records look for both of these teams, and the fact that University of Tennessee Knoxville, they're 10-1 Hardpoint, 7-2 Search and Destroy, 8-1 Control. That's a pretty well-balanced game mode. You can tell they're really well practiced at everything. When you look at the other side of the page now, you've got University of North Carolina, Wilmington. They're 12-1 Hardpoint, best map mode by everything, by any stretch of the imagination. But then you look at their Search and Destroy, 6-5, not the greatest, not the worst. Control, 5-4. As important as the hard points are, and as good as we saw them in the hard points last week, and we know that they're going to be very important for them to win them, they need to take one of those 3 game modes. They need to take one of the 2 searches, and they need to take the control. And so you got to think, if they can maybe take one of those modes, that's when they're going to have their best chance of being able to win this.
And you have to think that one loss for Hardpoint is at the hands of Tennessee. Hopefully for Wilmington and their end, it's not their kryptonite. As you hop into Apocalypse for map number 1, we get that first hardpoint underway. Tennessee with the less preferred side, so they are going to have to battle their way through the map. Trying to flip the spawns out for Wilmington. You can see King looking to approach from the underneath the stilts. Right now, Tennessee in control of this first hill, and Wilmington, they need to be careful. They can push too much. They need to make sure that they can lock this down, because look at Sweats. He did get the spawn out, so that's dangerous.
And you got to think that this map 1 is just an absolute must-win right now for UNCW. They want to be able to take this map 1 so that they know that it will give them some confidence going into the later half, but also if they don't take this map 1, I mean, this is your best mode. You don't want to go into the weaker of your modes, down 0-1 already in the series here. And I mean, off to a good start here so far, but with this push forward from Tennessee, it should spawn 2 players on UNCW out, and it absolutely does. So this is now Tennessee's chance to push all the way through and make a break onto this second hill. Only Percy here left in the back. He needs to go huge for his squad.
He's got the reinforcements coming out. Percy, he falls to King. As he's blooded in the water right now when King is a shark. He's going to clear that site. Wilmington no longer in control, now fighting from that less preferred side. Tennessee, they get the flip. Now they're in control. Going to be collecting this time, soaking it all up. And King's on a 5 spree as well. Let's make it 6 now. As he's close to these streaks, and you can see that Wilmington, they're afraid of this hill now. They know how hard it is to break. They're going to be taking a different route around, but honestly, Jesse, I don't know if this is the play.
They might not even want to hit this hill one more time. If I'm being completely honest here, I don't think you hit this again. With how close King is to streaks, you're going to know that too from looking at the scoreboard. And if you give this 2-man streaks right off the rip of the game, I mean, it can change the entire game on its head. They do find the kill onto King, though. You still need to be kind of worried about Sexy Poo, though. He's got 4 kills still. And so, I mean, you know he's going to be getting really, really close to trying to get those streaks as well. So keep an eye on him still.
Rise clears the hill again. Instant break from Tennessee. Almost seamless there. But Alpha is going to find that split. And Sfaxi Blue once again playing for that spawn. Wilmington get flipped again. Fighting from that lesser side once more. Percy's going to open up for the first blood. They go back and forth 2 for 2. Wilmington, they get a chance now to break the hill. They split the difference. D-Tatty gets in there, but even the read onto Shrexy. Going to stuff him out now. Wilmington looking to collect a little bit of time, cut this lead up a little bit for chance now to keep them inside Apocalypse, because you know how dirty this map can get. Take a look at your mini-map. Player number 5, King. He's in behind. He's going to find one culprit. The revised pinch. The break from Tennessee, but it's only for a little bit of a moment right now, Jesse, because Wilmington barely holding on.
The big thing right now that I'm noticing throughout this is UNC Wilmington, they're doing a great job of getting over and getting the original setups, but they're just getting broke so fast on every rotation, it feels like right now. Even on this hill, they had 2 players closer to the hill, and now it's really going to be a one-on-one for initial time while both of the teams are getting reinforcements coming off of spawn. And when you look on that left-hand side of the map, the closer spawn, it's still in favor of Tennessee, and they are going to be the first team to be able to get into this hill, to be able to get a solid setup on this hill once again. And this is just going to improve that lead over and over again. And we see it all the time here in Cold War on Apocalypse Hardpoint. You know that once you start to lose a couple of these hills, this is when the game can really start to get out of favor. They need to find a way to bounce back into this one early.
Percy stops the streak that King was on. But nobody can get into this hill. Finally a break there as he's going to double down. And Wilmington, they really need to start putting some pressure on these spawns. They got revised actually spawning all the way out in Narnia, but no kills on the other side. Wilmington, once again, they get blocked, shut at the gates. Now Tennessee can set up for this rotation, something they haven't been able to do. They've been constantly breaking. Now they're in the driver's seat. You look at the arrows for Wilmington, Jesse. They're rushing to this hill.
But the spawns, once again, they're still just going to be in favor of Tennessee, and that's where it's really going to start to become a big problem for UNC Wilmington. If they can't start to get in control of some of these spawns, it's just going to continue to force spawn outs, continue to make easy one-on-one fights for the Tennessee players that are just going to be in position over and over again to be able to win these gunfights. And it just keeps them spawning out deeper and giving more and more time to Tennessee. And, I mean, look at the score. It is starting to climb up more and more. And, I mean, we've seen some ridiculous hardpoint comebacks on Apocalypse Hardpoint. But you got to think, if UNC Wilmington are not going to start rotating and start winning these rotational battles, it's going to be over before it starts here.
It is, and now would have been some good time for 18 seconds, but it is going to have to be up to these last two members. Revised. Okay, I see you. A nice little 3 in a row there to lock down the rest of this hill, and we're going back to the second set of rotations. Tennessee up 153 to 64, almost a whole 100-point lead, and they are here first once again. Look at the arrows of Wilmington. Look at where they're spawning again. So far from this hill.
And the whole right-hand side of the map as well is in Tennessee's favor here. They can honestly put it away in these next two hills if they can keep this spawn trap intact and don't allow these UNC Wilmington players to get across the map and get into powerful positions to shut them down or to try to get across this. And they're doing it over and over again right now, just shutting this down. Alpha might be able to get a read onto one. This could open up a couple of lanes for the UNC Wilmington players to try to get out, but it doesn't matter. He has the backup. The rest of the Tennessee players, they shut them down. And with 20 seconds left on this hill and the right-hand side of the map still so in favor of Tennessee, they can absolutely string these two hills together and try to put this one away here.
Tennessee winning the fights in the hill. They're winning the rotation battles. They're winning the game right now. And with this second rotation, they're basically in striking distance of a victory. Yes, you can end this in this hill with a perfect 60, but I'm sure Wilmington will get in for a few seconds. Revised, a big two-piece off screen. D-Tatty makes his way behind, and the Euro spawns out of there from Wilmington. Now they can pinch it from behind. Will they get the read on King? He's gonna hop up in the gold. Perzy's gonna go down. Snaps to Alpha. D-Tatty in his sights, but he's gonna play the safe battle. Goes in for seconds. Now can he find the dessert around the corner? No, he's gonna play it safe. He's gonna play the hill, but Sweets gets around and shuts it down.
So now it's gonna be interesting to see here how Wilmington plays this rotation as well, because realistically, with how much time is left on this hill, this should be their last 30 seconds, and the break has come through. Now, we saw that Tennessee, they were able to get a great rotation from Hill 2 to Hill 3 on the last time. That's really what started to chunk that lead open and give them a big lead here in this game. Wilmington's going to need to answer back with one of their own here on this rotation if they want to be able to start to bring this one back. Now only down 100 points. This is really their chance to bring themselves right back into this game.
How many times have we seen Apocalypse come back, Jesse?
It's crazy how many times. It literally happens. It feels like every single time we get on stream, it happens at least once a stream. We've seen a crazy Apocalypse hardpoint comeback. The
break was there, but Tennessee still finding that Shvaxipoo to split the difference now, cleaning up that spawn. Wilmington, they're going to be fighting from the front now. Alstro, haven't talked about him too much, but playing this map control, playing up close and personal with the Diamante up top. Here's the collapse from Wilmington, actually finding a few kills their way. And they're going to actually find a second one, so if they can take care of Alstro, they can take this site. Now, that's exactly what they're going to have, still in it and still collecting some time.
I think the big thing, too, that we need to look at from that first set of rotations is, yes, it's a big lead right now for Tennessee that Wilmington is having to try to claw their way back into right now. But at the very least, they never gave up streaks throughout that big first chunk of the game. So, I mean, if you're looking at positives right now and you're looking glass half empty versus glass half full, they didn't give up those streaks. They can still try to bring this game back. This break and this hold right now is going to be absolutely everything for Wilmington.
Kang playing the outside angle. That's the rotation now. Should be here to turtle. It's big one-on-one between Alstro and D-Tatty, and has help from that. The team shots are going to come through. Wilmington still fighting from Temple side. But here comes Tennessee now for the break. Instantaneously, they get into this hill now, collecting this time, looking to end it here. Holding the front line, King on a 4 spree. Are they going to call those streaks? And that Revised has. He has the artillery strike in his backhand. They can hold it off that front of the hill. 15 seconds left, Jesse, and they're chopping them down as they flood on in. The closest player is going to be this player number 2, D-Taddy. Now 7 seconds left, and I don't know if it's going to be possible. They have to run, and they have to run now. They're going to have to put a foot on the table at some point, but no, Tennessee shuts the door. 250 to 135, a convincing win here on Apocalypse.
Yeah, that was a very clean win from University of Tennessee Knoxville. I mean, they probably would have wanted to get it done a little bit sooner there and not get broken into P2. But can we talk about King in that map number 1? Drops over 30 kills. He was at least double positive. I didn't see exactly where he was at the very end of that game, but King, absolutely. It felt like every single time they needed a big break or a big hold from somebody on their team, it was the submachine gun player on the University of Tennessee Knoxville, just showing up time and time again. It was the first set of rotations into Hill 2. He was the solo player there. He found 2 kills, started to spawn out the players on the likes of North Carolina, Wilmington. The second set of rotations, same exact hill. He sat on gold and found all 4 kills. Yes, they didn't break the hill, and yes, they didn't hold on to it, but he slowed them down and didn't allow Wilmington to get even more time on that hill. And that's really what you got to think was the difference maker in that matchup.
I think King's a huge talking point because constantly when we saw him, he was on a 5 spree, a 6 spree. He wasn't able to get the streaks, but he was allowing so much control to the map that eventually Revise found streaks of his own. So really, Tennessee, they came out and they slayed out. Wilmington, they were having trouble mostly in the gunfights that they were taking because you saw it constantly. They were there on the rotations. They just weren't able to lock them down. So not the start you want if you're Wilmington. I mean, you and I both set this up. Hard points are what they should be winning, really, but it just seems like Tennessee's their kryptonite.
It's kind of crazy because you say it's their kryptonite, and it absolutely is. When you look overall that record, that 12-1 record going into that last map, their only 1 map loss in hardpoint was to the University of Tennessee Knoxville. Now, you know what? They're 12-2. Add up another loss onto the chain because Tennessee Knoxville, they're not going anywhere. And now if you're a University of North Carolina Wilmington fan, you got to be a little bit nervous right now. Going into these next 2 modes, this is where your team has struggled all year long. 6-5 in Search and Destroy, 5-4 in Control. These 2 modes have been the kind of like the pinnacle of what's been the problem for this UNC Wilmington team, what's not allowed them to take that jump up from the 3rd seed up to that 2nd seed, up to that 1st seed. They need to find a way here today to win now 2 of the 3 game modes of these 3 matches and to hopefully pick up the next hardpoint match if we end up getting that far. It's just going to be very, very tough from this point on for Wilmington.
Last week, Wilmington got smoked in the Search and Destroy and the Control as well. I mean, it wasn't even close. I mean, yeah, you're going up against the number 1 seed, so it's not an easy feat to kind of find, but I mean, this is really where you got to pull this back. We have to see that growth. We have to see the changes right away. I'm seeing a change, a B hit off this first round. Something we talk about a lot, Jesse, but we rarely get to see.
It's something you absolutely love to see. This B site completely wide open. You can see Tennessee not ready for that hit at all. But Revise, he might be able to get up and get into a powerful position here. D-Taddy should be at the back to be able to at least watch over that for the time being now. But he's actually getting caught out. And Bomb goes down. And now you pretty much just have 2 UNC Wilmington players just in awful spots.
And you got King coming on the flank here to put this through. Percy's found his way into the apartments, but it shouldn't be for long. It's an opening for 1, but the shutdown for the 2nd. Tennessee find this first round, and honestly, they give up that B site. The retake was pretty seamless.
It wasn't even a retake. Like, it kind of was, but Bomb never goes down, and I think that's the big problem with that round is you really just never get the bomb down in that situation. Once you have that much map control and you notice there's nobody in that B site, that bomb needs to go down immediately just to kind of make Tennessee force them out of those powerful positions in the back. But it kind of just felt like UNC Wilmington was just pushing into them. They just allowed them to sit back in the back of their spawn, pushed out, and found easy kills for the Tennessee players to shut down that Wilmington push. I liked that round 1 push. Hopefully that doesn't shy them away from going towards B later on in this game.
We're here in round number 2 now. Tennessee on the attack. A lot more default. Something we're used to seeing. Just lone player over towards streets and more emphasis towards that A site looking for a pick. The difference is, though, that King, that player towards street, he's the one with the bomb. So kind of undecided where we're going to be seeing Tennessee rotate to. I think this is an interesting setup to Wilmington as well. They're dedicating 3 players to the A site, and player number 1, Sweets, is going to be playing for that information for the cross to see if Tennessee do want that B site or not.
Sweets has been tagged up multiple times in this round, and he will get caught out as well. So Percy's going to need to make the rotation over from the left side over towards this right side, and at least he finds one. He can slow that rotation down and try to help his team as they try to rotate over now.
D-Tatty gets the trade 2v2. See, Alpha has the pinch on player number 6, but Sfaxiplu has found the opening. I don't think D-Tatty's going to be ready for this. It shouldn't be a free kill, but the turn and burn. Hello. Goodbye, Sfaxi. Bomb gets planted at B now. 45 seconds the other way. The pressure gets flipped, but like to see Wilmington play for this trade. King, oh, this is a heads-up play now. Has the escape. Not sure if D-Tatty saw this, but it does look like these players are reacting to it as if they know shots through the window. D-Tatty's very low. Alpha yet to get into this battle. They're going to swing in, and they're going to find the kill. Brilliant out of Wilmington. They put themselves on the board.
That round got a little scary quickly when Sweets fell early on, but it's the big play from Perzy's. Middle of that round, he's sitting in the back. He's basically that buffer player in between the A site and the B site. He realizes, hey, you know what? We got a lot of pressure going over towards A. Let me get back here, try to back up Sweets. Sweets falls. He at least gets the trade to kind of even that round out, because you got to think if he doesn't find that trade there, it's a 2v4, probably the round a lot easier to the likes of the University of Tennessee, but he gets the trade, and it allows D-Tatty to push out, find the kill here to put us into a 2v2, and this kill, you got to think that this could just be a big misplay from Spexy as well. He comes out, he's kind of tunnel visioning those doors, doesn't look to his right, doesn't see D-Tatty. D-Tatty finds the kill and is able to open that round out for them so much easier, and that allows Wilmington right back into this game at 1-1.
Well, back on attack, though, for Wilmington. What do you want to see them do this time around, Jesse?
Yeah, I mean, probably switch it up a little bit here. Don't consistently hit towards that B side. Let's see, maybe an A hit out this time, a little bit something more conventional. They just kind of want to bring the gunfights to Tennessee this round.
Well, that's what they're doing. A 2-on-4 right out of these escalators. King on the pillar. Is he going to be ready for it? Has the crossfire with Sfaxi, and Sfaxi's actually going to find Perzy. That's first blood for Tennessee. It's going to provide this map control to the middle. Alpha, quick to strike. Can he find the second? He can. Now here comes the pounce from these Tennessee players inside checkers. Oh, he might have the angle. That's going to be bombed down. The trade evens us up 2 versus 2, and now Wilmington are going to have to react.
Thing is, though, is they get that kill and they just push completely off the site. I love this play from Tennessee. They're just going to make the big flank play in through library, but they need to be sure that Sweets isn't just set up and ready for this push. He probably heard that jump, and he finds the first. Will he get the second as well? No, he won't, so it's going to force us into a 1v1 now. Bomb does go down. Alpha has all the information in the world as well.
Alpha knows. Shots are good. The nade. Oh, that's a close one, but Alstro's going to stay alive to fight another fight. 33 seconds. Drake versus AK-74U. And Alstro actually might get some bad time here. Alpha's made his way through. Oh, they both catch bad time. Nobody's seen each other. But the chase is on still. Alpha has an idea. Oh, he knows. Now he knows, if not before. And he's just going to be looking to burn this clock even more. Bombs planted for Eski. So Alstro is going to have to put himself in a very uncomfortable situation. Now, sticking the defuse. Alpha's going to check it. And that's going to be a free kill.
Perfectly played from Alpha at the end of that round there. And I mean, I think he would have had the ace there if Sweets didn't find the one, but this is the break off here for Alpha. He finds the easy kill on the King and rotates it straight over and finds Spexy on the side as well. Huge kills from him, opens up that bomb site when they were already in a man disadvantage in the round. And so far for UNC Wilmington, when they seem to find themselves in these tough situations on this map so far, it's been individual gunfights and individual plays that has really been able to find themselves these first 2 rounds.
Wilmington for the push. On defense, meeting fire with fire here, but they are going to be at that player disadvantage. It's 3v4. Crossfire set up, but King, brilliant shots there. The trade from D-Tatty around the pillar. Has the backup from Alpha. They're playing hand in hand, but still Astro working with Revise to break this site. It's a 2v1 as you look at Sweets. He's making that quick flank, Jesse, all the way through the spawn. All the way in behind. Making sure he takes his time to clear everything.
He will clear everything out, but he's in such a disadvantage in this round now because they put the bomb down and they actually have it down to be able to watch from the defensive side of the map as well. So map at this point pretty much flips. Sweets needs to find a way to not only find both of these kills, but also a bomb defuse, and time is just ticking more and more. Only 25 seconds left to do it.
7.5 is what you need to win the round. Astro should have spotted that one, but might have been some time to Sweets as Revise hasn't really reacted here. Sweets, the 74U's ready. Tennessee even us back up. Now, that's a big round, too. I mean, Wilmington, They had the dedication to A. They met fire with fire, but they played the trade battle, and you see Revise getting behind them. Even if Alstro didn't find that kill, they would have been able to get that bomb down.
Yeah, it's been a pretty... That was one of our easier offenses that we've seen come in so far. Once Alstro found that two-piece and a 2v1, they've just played it so perfectly. And they didn't even have the map information on where that final player in Sweets was, but they made their decision. They wanted to play the A site. They wanted to do it from the defensive side of the map, and it works out so well for them there. They never had to overcommit to anything and just keep watching each other's backs. Works out perfectly. Now UNC Wilmington back on offense. B didn't work out for them round number 1. They're going to decide they want to go back over towards the A site, but this time we're going to get a 3-stack back from University of Tennessee.
Oh, King's making the extension.
Oh, he's getting super aggressive.
Oh, he's just going to lay prone. This is such a ratty angle. If somebody hops up, they might not check it, and he's going to be right behind this whole team if they get too aggressive. And got Revise holding one side.
Oh, look at the flank coming in, too.
Somebody's there, and there you go. 1 for 1. They know King's here. Can they trade it out? No, they can't because Revise is going to be here now, but Sweets is going to have their back. A 2v1 the other way. Alstro behind him. That gives it away. They know exactly where he's going to be playing Jesse. Now it's just time to get this bomb down, set up for the post plants towards screens and garden, and hope that you can catch some good timing here to play the trade battle against Alstro. He's now going to be rotating up inside the escalators. D10 is going to take that contact if he's going to be facing this bomb, but eventually he's going to check that. And eventually Alstro's going to have to take this. And there he goes. The slide out. D10 is going to win it. No need for the trade.
Almost a picture-in-picture of what happened in the last round, but just flipped on its head. But that round could have gone so well for the likes of University of Tennessee, but it just, unfortunately, they end up getting 2 shots in there. And the player that was on the flank, I believe it was Alpha, just a little bit too late on the flank play in the back. And it just ends up costing them in that round. Sorry, it was Alstro who ends up costing them that round. If he's a second earlier, he probably finds that kill on the Sweets. They don't get that 2-piece, and they probably close that round out for themselves there. Just COD timing at its finest. Doesn't work out for them. But, I mean, if you're liking these A hits and these bloody rounds, we're about to see another one really quickly here.
Yes, we are. Stacked on top of each other. Expecting to push through pillars, but somebody's on the flank, and Sweets is there to watch their back. Faxi is going to draw up first blood to Wilmington. The pace is going to slow down instantly out of Tennessee as they know they need to take something back, but realistically, if they realize it, they could rotate this bomb to B for free. Thing is, are they going to do that? It doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. Everybody on Wilmington playing this very patiently. Here's the go-ahead. Revise going to find that trade. Gets in and out. Now going for seconds. What a play onto Alpha. A little bit of a check to allow Kane to find the second one. Now Sweets doesn't know what hit him. Look at Alstro behind. That was perfect out of Tennessee.
Well, that's all on Revised as well. Revised finds this huge 2-piece. We'll get to see it again right here. They were in a 2v or in a 3 versus 4. Very quickly turns it into not only a 3v3 but a 3v2 for their favor, as King also finds the kill on a D-Tatty on the outside there. Crazy, crazy stuff from the submachine guns on Tennessee, and that's the submachine guns that we saw in round number 1 from King. And once they find those big kills from King and Revised, it makes it so tough for the other team to be able to answer back. If they can find a way to continue to play at that pace and find those gunfights, that's when Tennessee's really going to be able to start to take over this game.
Where are the trades, Jesse? Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, you can't let Revise just dip in and get out with 2 kills and not allow a thing.
Oh, I thought King was about to do the exact same thing, but a 4-on-3 for the side. Look at Alstro now, that ratty player, that lurking player again making the flank threat play, but on the site, Tennessee winning every single battle they can ask for.
Tennessee, or is it Revised and King once again? All 4 kills on the round go to the 2 submachine gun players.
Alstro didn't even need to flank. I mean, it was really just Wilmington taking some pretty tough gunfights. They're playing into the hands, they're playing into the trap, and you see that Tennessee, they know exactly how they want Wilmington to play this, and they're feeding them into their game.
UNC Wilmington, they're going to need to find an answer on offense. They can't keep hitting towards that A site. It's just not going to work out for them. It hasn't been working out for them in those last 2 rounds. They need to try to hit that B site again or hit towards mid. Just do something different. You just can't keep walking into the trap that Tennessee is setting up. And talking about traps, UNC Wilmington, they were trying to throw one of their own over towards A, but it is not going to be the case. Tennessee completely switch it up. All 4 players hit towards Boulevard. They should have an open bomb site on this B site for them to be able to get this into, but they're moving pretty slowly. UNC Wilmington might be able to catch them off guard here.
Oh, Percy. That's bombed down. He's just going to nade there. He's going to play his life. As Wilmington, they were quick to realize their mistake. So they rotated around and very cautiously checking these angles. Percy's going to find a second.
Again, it's one of those sites where you hit towards the B site, you don't have all the information in the world, and they just take way too long to try to get that bomb down. Now in a 2 versus 4, Spexy and Revise, they need to find a way to get out with this bomb and get it down somewhere else. Spexy just gets around that wall. I thought he was going to get away, but he reach-owls, falls to Sweets. It's going to leave Revise on a 4 streak by himself. He might just choose to play streaks here as opposed to try to win the round.
Oh, well, he only has 3 HP, so if you're going to play for streaks, you gotta get out of dodge. 12 seconds left to take this over to the next round. The hunt is on from Wilmington. Alpha's gonna come swinging wide. That's 6 in a row now. 1 more would give you the artillery strike, and I think that Percy and DTI, they understand the situation. They're just gonna play the win.
Ties us up at 4-4 here, and I mean, I thought for sure that was almost going to be a for sure round win for the likes of Tennessee, but again, it's just too slow of a hit that round. They don't get the bomb down in time. Sweets gets just enough time to get all the way back over from North Carolina to get back up into that top police building and find the first kill. But they were so out of position, and Tennessee still just does not get that bomb down. Now, if you're Wilmington here, you know the A site has worked once, but it's been 2 rounds in a row. You've just been stuffed over towards this site, and it just does not matter. They have no confidence in that B hit right now, and it's going to be a full force hit once again over towards Eskies.
Wilmington, breaks off Sfaxi. Not gonna find the kill, but gonna find some control of this A site in those hit markers. King's playing this close angle. Should he get that bomb go down? That's a big one from Sfaxi Poo. First blood to Tennessee. Can't get that bomb planter down. Sweets is covering their angles. But look at the mini-map, because now Tennessee have them in a trap. Here comes Rise around the backside. Is going to find the one on Sweets. Sfaxi Poo looking to break in, but the trades from Alpha, 2v2. Wilmington now just need to take their one-on-ones. Back into a corner. D-Tan, he's going to find Revise. Now 2v1 for Alistro to clutch up on it. Both these players just going to play ring around the Rosie to find the round advantage. Wilmington looking for their 5th, and that's exactly what they're going to get.
Last time we saw these 2 teams, it went full round 11 on the Moscow Search and Destroy. It looks very likely like we could see that again here. This kill, though, not only is it the best play of the round, but a very important kill for Revised. It found him that 7th kill in a row. He does get 1 streak on the board. That streak is everything. It gives you so much information. And we've seen the later and later that this year's gone along, there's small little areas on this map that you can drop those streaks in as well to get players out of powerful positions, to open up bomb sites for you to get those bombs down, and even sometimes find a couple kills with that artillery strike. We've seen it happen a few times here. We'll see what the play call is for the likes of Tennessee. And Revised, I don't know how I feel about this. He's going to be the first player in. If he falls, that streak basically becomes void.
Void and null. But nonetheless, confident as ever with his team. The follow-through is there for Tennessee, and D-Taddy should back up.
See that guy cross?
I'm not sure, but it does seem like we're about to get a fight off screen. Sweets gets caught. That should be the go-ahead now for Wilmington to look to overwhelm this site. Bomb's going to be starting to get planted. Shvaxipu's going to double down. And now Wilmington will have to fight back from the disadvantage, Jesse. And it's just too much to fight.
And I'm not 100%, but I don't think Revise used that streak in the slightest in that round. He didn't use the streak for sure, but I don't think he even used the ping in that round. So they should have a ping for round 11 here. But who would have thought, Colin?
Oh, he's going to hightail it out of there.
Oh, he's got just enough time to get over towards the other side and get this bomb down now, and he knows he needs to just full send it. Bomb should be able to get planted here, but as soon as this bomb goes down, it's going to be gunfights galore.
Yes, it is, King. Great on his sail. Sweet should know this, but King's still going to get that headshot. Tennessee win the search and destroy again in a round 11. They're going up 2-0 in the series, Jesse, and they're looking to convert this into another sweep. just like the last time they met.
University of Tennessee Knoxville. They're not going to go down without a fight. They come back, and once again, they win 2 rounds in a row. Once University of North Carolina Wilmington get that 5-4 lead, it was just clean round after clean round, and I don't think that streak ever even came into use. But nonetheless, actually, he did drop it in that round, but it actually kind of didn't work out in his favor. Revise dropped the streak, now that I think about it, and they instantly just pushed through to find him in that corner, but does not matter. He was the only player in that round to drop for University of Tennessee before the end of the round, obviously, once Sweets found that one, but it just kind of looked like it was just never out of the question there. Tennessee Knoxville just able to close it out, able to take that game once again.
And something we were really hoping for today was the growth out of Wilmington from the last time these two teams met, but we've seen this story before. We've seen Tennessee in this exact position, and they win it the exact same way too. I mean, going to another round 11, a little bit of deja vu here, and if you're a North Carolina Wilmington fan, you're not feeling good about this one right now. You gotta convert this into a reverse sweep. Raid's coming up next for the Control, and this is another map. We saw them play Control last week, and they just did not look like they were able to keep pace.
Just a little correction. It's Checkmate Control coming up next. But you're not wrong. It really was last week. University of Tennessee, or not University of Tennessee, the University of North Carolina Wilmington. They just looked like they were struggling last week in Control. It looked very uncomfortable for them in that game mode. I believe it was Raid that they played last week that we saw on stream, if I double check that really quickly. It was Raid Control that they played last week, and they got 3-1. They didn't look very comfortable on that map mode combo at all. So they switched it up this week. That was probably their ban this week because of how it looked. They go in, now they go to Checkmate. And I mean, arguably, I think Checkmate is a more fundamentally harder map in Control to play than Raid is. So when you're looking at this as Wilmington, and you need to be able to take a map, maybe this might be their chance to do it. Maybe they feel a little bit more practiced on this map mode combo. They feel like they can come out and they don't just have to worry about winning offenses over and over again. They can focus up, try to take some defenses, because defense technically is the stronger of the two on this mode, on this map mode combo. So if they can find a way to come out, they can take this defense and then sneak an offense out. Maybe Wilmington can take this map.
And one thing on Checkmate that we've known forever is the spawn trap. I think this is the nastiest spawn trap that I've seen in Call of Duty in a while when it comes to competitive play, at least. And Control, I mean, you see it on Raid, you see it on Garrison, but you don't see a spawn trap like this. When you look at Checkmate, that's a very AR-centric map. I think that's when the submachine guns can really take a lot out of their kind of pacing, a lot out of what the assault rifle players find, and use that opportunity to push that defending side up a little bit, push that line of scrimmage right up to the spawn, use those ratty angles, use the cover to block out whoever's on that attack, and that's when things can really get nasty. I think for Wilmington, you switch up Raid to this map, you're going to have to step up to that AR battle, and I haven't seen that yet today, so things need to change fast.
I think maybe the strong thing for Wilmington is they do have Sweets, and Sweets has been probably their best player here today so far. He's got that AR in hand. He needs to step up for the team, though. Put this team on your back. I think might be the only thing I'm worried about right now for Tennessee, or sorry, not for Tennessee, for North Carolina, is that this plane control is so important on this map, and the submachine gun battle has just been so dominant so far for the likes of Revised and King that I think it's going to be very tough for University of North Carolina to get a lot of plane control on this map.
Attackers are already at A. Revised and Co are going to be stacking the site, gaining progression very fast. Alpha from on top of the crate, a little bit shaky shots, not able to finish it off, playing for the pinch out. D-Tatty to work with him, and that's a big break out of Wilmington. They don't give up the second tick just yet.
No, only a tick and a half of progress, but nobody on the hill yet either to kind of take that progress away. And I mean, even though they find 2 kills, they really don't take any of the map control away here. King gets caught with his pants slipping there, not able to find that kill while sitting in a corner. But with those couple kills, they finally get some map control. North Carolina, Wilmington, they shut down that initial push. They get that tick revised. Now they can try to push forward and try to get the spawn trap locked in.
Null and Void. Tennessee, they need to hold this exit through play in Wilmington, looking for this one big team fight to get them to push this line of skirmish that we've been talking about. However, on the opposite end, Tennessee find an opening now. It's a 2-for-2 trade. Svaxipoo looking to overwhelm towards the B side, and you're going to have the player number 1, King, extend himself in here to stop the clock at 23 seconds, start getting this time at B in. This is really going to throw Wilmington through a loop. Are they going to dedicate players to the opposite side of the map? It looks like they are going to put all 3 over there. Clean up King, and that's going to leave the A site susceptible for take. D-Tatty looking to hold this. The crossfire is good. Alpha doubles down, and Wilmington now in a really good spot to put the round away.
Yeah, they just need to push forward now. They can continue just to shut these players down off spawn. But King, once he finds those 2 kills, it actually opens up that right-hand lane. He can get onto the hill. He finds all 3 in succession. And now the tick of progress is going to start coming in. Second tick should be good. With only 8 seconds left and only 1 player close enough to the hill now for the Wilmington players. D-Tatty falls, and this should be the A zone. And actually, with a 4 down there, this should be an easy rotation from B to A. They get a minute left on the clock, and kills are in the favor now for Tennessee.
King hitting that turning point right there. The X factor of Tennessee Knoxville. Wilmington, they need to bounce back. That's a good start. Percy and D-Tatty, they find 2, so Tennessee aren't able to stack this site just yet. You're going to call for Wilmington now to reverse themselves out, look to clean up their spawns, and make sure that Tennessee aren't spawn trapping Wilmington in their own half. So you can see that as these players on Knoxville are going to be coming off spawn, they are going to be closing in on the Wilmington players. Faxi Poo with a big one-on-one outside of the point. It's going to be Alstro working alongside them. 2 go down again, make it 3 for Wilmington. It's a good opportunity to get on the site, but nobody's really in a good position from Tennessee to hop on this. Time's going fast. They have to rethink this strategy, but I think at one point you have to be careful of your Wilmington because you also have no respawns for yourself. So this is definitely backed into a corner, looking to bite a big chunk out of Tennessee. Things slow down now. You clear out Tennessee from this hill. 17 seconds left. Alstro underneath, bobbing in and out. D-Tatty's gonna get caught looking the wrong way. That's a chance now for Tennessee to take advantage of this whole game. 2 players left. Tennessee looking to wrap this up. Jesse, only 1 left. It's Sweets. They know where he is and where to find him. So really, if Sweets needs to take this, he needs to turn up, and that's just not the case right now.
It looked so good for Wilmington. Only 8 seconds left. All they needed to do was find a few more kills, and they had the spawn trap locked in. They knew exactly where the players on Tennessee Knoxville were going to be coming out, but UTK and King more so, he finds 3 in a row on the rotation out of that yellow crate in the back right-hand side of the map. He finds all 3 players on the likes of UNCW that were close enough to the hill, breaks on in, finds the 4th, and they just get the hill. And once they locked that down, it was just easy kill after easy kill, it felt like, for UNC Wilmington. And they could never get back into that round once that was over.
Off the break, Wilmington now needs to bounce back into the site. They have 2 down. Flawlessly, too. They haven't dropped a player. Incandescent outro. Another one bites the dust. Now they can stack the A site. Haven't given up a life. They can start to get this progression through. Alpha up top of this wing. Nice shots on this Vexy, able to double down, but on site, Revise turns up, and Tennessee blocked that second tick again. They send Wilmington packing back to the spawns.
Revise, he's going to sit on that for a little bit just to get the tick kind of back, as it was already almost completed. He'll at least get that second tick progressed all the way back to around halfway. And now you can see the full focus right now for the Tennessee players are they want to just push forward. They want to try to start to put this spawn trap in, but it's just not going to work out in their favor. Wilmington, they'll be able to at least find 3. They can now push forward, get back onto this A site, and start to get this tick of progression. And because that tick never came down, and it was already at halfway, the second tick and third, they're just going to come so easily. Extra minute on the clock, and now a minute 43 left for the UNC Wilmington players to try to make their way over to B and get 3 ticks.
Jesse, this is a big turnaround from Wilmington. I mean, in game number 1, they looked like they just couldn't keep up with the slaying. Now, in game number 3, everybody's awake, everybody's warm, and honestly, Wilmington looked pretty good in this attack now with 3 down. They're going to hop this A site, stop the clock. Got to worry about Alstro in the back because he's hunting you, and he's going to find 2 of them and walk out alive.
This is where the spawn trap once again can come full force. That's 4 down now. Everybody on Tennessee, they're going to put that full push forward. Everybody's holding forward on the sticks, and Alstro continuing on this spree. He's on 5 in a row. If he can find streaks, too, this could absolutely spell disastrous.
I don't think they know either of them just walked around them. Alpha finally going to drop Alstro in 6 in a row. 1 more would give you that artillery strike, and what looked so good from Wilmington. I don't know what happened in Tennessee, but they just came online. Revise almost getting the turn and burn on Alpha, but no, Wilmington still need to clean up Alstro back here. There's the artillery strike. Can you find that cruise missile? I don't think it matters at this point. You already did your job. Anything now would just be more on top of that cake.
UNC's not out of this round yet. They still have a chance. There's 30 seconds left. They can try to make their way out of this spawn trap, but it just doesn't seem to matter, though. Tennessee, they just keep locking it down. Every time one player falls for Tennessee, it feels like 3 are falling for Wilmington. They will find that kill on the right-hand side, but once again, it's just instantly traded here for Tennessee to go down. They can start to put the trap right back into full effect.
Percy slips through. He can't find a single soul. By the time he does, Revice is just going to put it back into that spawn. The spawn trap from Tennessee is deadly, and this is exactly what we were talking about. How much checkmate can just get out of your hands when somebody like Alstro turns up on a 7 spree that quickly. They flip this round. They get 2-0 now, and they back the side of North Carolina, Wilmington, into a corner.
It was a 7-life lead at one point of that round for University of North Carolina Wilmington. That finished with 15 kills into the favor of University of Tennessee. That's how strong and how fast this map can get flipped on your head on the defensive side. And this game, you got to think right now, after those first 2 rounds that were very winnable for UNC Wilmington, that this game is just kind of becoming one of those situations where it's so close but yet so far away. They could have won that first defense. They give up the timer with just 8 seconds left on that first offense for them. They allow the comeback from Tennessee. They let them come right back into this game. And it's just been their downfall so far here in this series.
The break off. Tennessee gets them onto the B side, Jesse, so no time going to be lost. In fact, they're going to get a tick at this site as well. By the time D-Tatty gets here, there's a crossfire to deal with. Able to find Alstro, but the trades go back and forth, and Wilmington finally get that site cleared with a 2-life advantage. Now 3. Again, it's not the start you want to see out of Wilmington. In this fact, Alpha's going to fly at them. Revice is going to pick him up off that mid-air acrobatics, and the rest of Tennessee are just going to sail on into these sites, look to put this A site away, and then with this already covered tick at B, they can rotate from A to B and cap it in no time.
King was trying to be a nuisance on the map. They're just trying to get into the face of the UNC Wilmington players, but not able to get the job done yet. They still do have a 6-life lead, though, and with Spexy being able to find those kills and these streaks still being in his hand, you got to think that this round is going to be very, very close to over if he uses these right off spawn here.
2 more ticks, and Tennessee are going to punch themselves into the playoffs. Wilmington, they need to dig deep here. They not only need to reverse sweep the game, but they need to reverse sweep the series. And that's a brilliant start at D-Tatty. They're going to be able to turn around now. If they can find another set of 4, they can start setting up Tennessee in the spawn trap that they exactly put Wilmington into the previous round that we just saw. But there's the break from Straxy. It's enough to get King up into that plane. Overwhelms D-Tatty, looking for a second. However, Alpha going to keep his team alive. Tennessee yet to get out of their spawn right now. Again, this is that back and forth term now where Wilmington and Tennessee are fighting for map control.
It is, but with every kill, it just kind of favors the Tennessee side right now with how big the kill difference is. More and more trades just means more and more chance for the Tennessee players to be able to close this game out with only 7 lives now remaining for UNC Wilmington. This clock is still stopped, and with those 4 down, the streaks are going to get called in to try to shut this down from the front, and it's a perfect usage of the streaks as Spexy's able to find 1. It forces the rest of the players into bad positions, and this game, it is over. Tennessee, they come out, they 3-0 them once again, and I mean, we looked at this whole series, Colin. We thought this would be a lot closer, but it's almost a picture-in-picture perfect matchup when you look at their last series they played to this one, and it just looks like University of Tennessee Knoxville. They're just that 1 step closer and that 1 step higher than University of Carolina Wilmington.
Oh, baby, did we just get a series and a half out of Tennessee Knoxville? When I was looking at growth from them from the previous series, because obviously we saw Wilmington get a little bit better when they were playing University of Central Florida. Well, forget about that University of Central Florida game because Tennessee are just 1 step ahead of this squad. Now, that's going to be interesting here because I think Wilmington looked excellent last week. And if Tennessee can do this to them, who knows what they can do when they reach that conference final, Jesse?